everybody, my name is Kitty Mary and today I want to talk about the environmental impact of fast furniture. I also want to talk about the general rise of fast furniture and what that impact has been and why it's happened. And generally this is going to be a guide on how to decorate your home unsustainably. I've talked a lot about homeware recently, and that's because me and my partner, we bought a house and I'm still incredibly excited about it and a little bit in disbelief, honestly, just overall. But the entire moving process got me thinking a lot about the rise of fast furniture and what that impact might be and what our consumer patterns tells us about what's happening in the world of furniture and home decor right now. And I think that could be pretty interesting to talk about. I also see more and more fast fashion brands branching out into homeware, and I thought, hey, what's the impact of that? One wonders. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, but before we do so, this video is sponsored. This video is sponsored by Wren. With Wren, you can make an effective difference by calculating your carbon footprint and supporting green projects to offset it. You can choose between both tree planting operations in Kenya, rainforest protection in Peru, mineral weathering in Scotland, and green energy programs in Uganda, and so much more. You can sign up for a monthly contribution and then get frequent updates on how that project is going. They also publish their annual reports with full transparency on where your money is going, where it's helping, and it's just really nice to see that level of transparency when it comes to carbon offsetting programs, because not all of them are great, but I really, really like Wren. And if you use the link down below and sign up, you will get an extra 10 trees planted in your name. There's plenty of things that we can do for the planet, and there's definitely also something for all levels. So while you can find a lot of things that you can do on my platform in your daily life, like your daily routines, your habits, how we can change things, how we can become more conscious, and everything we can do in our own lives is amazing. But at the same time, I also love supporting programs and organizations that help elsewhere. So thank you so much to Wren for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the impact and rise of fast furniture. In a manner similar to that of fast fashion, fast furniture products are produced extremely quickly and extremely cheaply. And the reason why these products are so cheap is often because they come at the expense of both the environment and the people making them. In fast fashion, the materials often used are conventional cotton, a fabric that not only requires massive amounts of water to produce, it also requires both insecticides and pesticides, the highest amount among non-food crops, by the way. Another frequently used fabric in fast fashion is polyester. This material is derived from fossil fuels, and it releases microplastic both when it's worn and when it's washed. And the same materials are absolutely also abundant within fast furniture as well. But we also have other materials that can cause a lot of trouble, like particle board. Lots of cheap furniture is made from this. It is compressed sawdust, wood chips, and then this resin/glue that basically makes it impossible to reuse or recycle, and it's also very difficult to fix it if it breaks. And we also see lots of cheap furniture made with illegally chopped down wood from old growth forests, so that's also great. And just like in fast fashion, fast furniture also maintains an incredibly high pace with which they put out products. New additions to product lines or new product lines entirely are introduced to consumers constantly, so there is an absolute constant influx of new products. That means that trends come in and out of style extremely quickly, just like in fast fashion, and that means that many consumers will feel a need or an obligation to buy new things constantly in order to stay current. Needless to say that both the fast furniture and the fast fashion industry are both extremely wasteful and unethical industries. But I would like to talk a little bit more about the rise of fast furniture. Homeware wasn't always something that we bought constantly and replaced in and out of season. That's actually a pretty new type of consumer pattern. With the rise of cheap products being made available to billions of people by IKEA originally, but now definitely not exclusively IKEA, we also see a difference in how we consume these goods. In the US, 12 million tons of home goods are thrown away each year. This is a 500% increase since the 60s. And because homeware are often complex products, they're really hard to take apart again and recycle, which means that a lot of mixed material products end up in landfills. Over 9 million tons of glass, fabric, metal, and leather are thrown away each year, on top of those 12 million tons, also from furniture. According to Mintel, the furniture sales in 2021 hit a record high of £17.2 billion in the UK, and smaller knickknacks and home decor goods made up around 75% of those sales. And this is in perfect alignment with the fast furniture idea, the fast furniture industry and consumer pattern, because smaller knickknacks are easily discarded again. They're definitely prone to being replaced rather quickly, or at least quicker than a bed or a couch, etc. A survey from the British Heart Foundation in 2019 found that around 30% of all Brits had thrown away furniture, electrical items, or homeware goods in good condition. Moreover, a 2020 survey found that about 27% of UK adults binned unwanted homeware. That's more than 14 million individual home good items ending up in landfills each year, and that's only from the UK. And I would say it's pretty safe to say that we would be able to see similar tendencies in other high consumer societies. Fast fashion high street brands like Topshop, H&M, Zara, Mango, Primark, and countless others have played very central roles in how we consume fashion today. Over the span of about 20 to 30 years, the production and consumption of clothing has absolutely exploded because these brands are making products available that are super cheap because they're produced in sweatshops and with no regard for neither workers nor the environment. And when you slack on all of those issues, it's really easy to produce cheap products. And of course, you can also just keep production costs down by not paying your workers whatsoever. At the same time, these brands have cultivated new consumer patterns by providing a constant flow of new trends and styles. For instance, by adding about 50 new seasons to a year in order to introduce new styles more frequently. And that will have consumers coming back to stay current, to stay trendy, to be on top of the new trends that these companies also cultivated so they could sell more products. Can you hear how I'm just over it? Overall, these brands have built a business model that is entirely dependent on overconsumption, no matter how many leaves you put on the packaging. And of course, that doesn't mean that you cannot consume these products consciously or wear them consciously. I still wear some of my old H&M sportswear from about 15 years ago. It just means that the initial production of these products can never be conscious. And now many of these bigger fast fashion brands are doing the same thing to furniture and home decor that they did to clothing. Many of these fast fashion high street brands like H&M, like Zara, like Mango, etc., there are many of them, have introduced new home decor, home good lines. And they are quickly becoming huge players in the home decor sector because they are offering these products just as cheaply as they are offering their clothing. The bigger powerhouses like H&M Home and IKEA have completely different cultural impacts. None of their environmental impacts are great, however, but they definitely cater to two different types of consumers, or at least they cater to two different types of needs and behaviors. While they're both cheaply priced and cheaply made in sweatshops, IKEA caters to the basic needs of the modern individual, if they do say it themselves. They also definitely have more trendy, bold items, but for the most part, many of their product lines sort of have this basic starter kit vibe. Meanwhile, the fast fashion home decor lines are doubling down on trends and bold decor. Many of these high street fast fashion brands are using their home decor lines and promoting it as part of a consumer's stylistic identity, just like with accessories. And just like with accessories, these things are made to be bought and discarded off rather quickly. At least that's the idea of the business model. That doesn't mean that all consumers are using the products this way, but it just means that that's sort of what they want you to do. And just like with accessories as well, they are also often a little bit more bold and out there and, you know, extra trendy, something that has current preference with a lot of consumers, but also something that will go out of style again rather quickly. And this is not to say that you cannot have a bold style or bold preference. It's completely okay to like things not minimalistic nor not, you know, simple or, you know, beige and black and white, etc. It's okay to be more bold and flamboyant with your preferences. That's so fine. Like, girl same, you cannot see that right here, but usually girl same. The problem is that trends are always in a state of flux, which means that they will come in and out of style super quickly, which will get a lot of consumers to buy something on a whim because they've seen it a lot on social media, because they want to replicate a style that they saw on social media, etc. And then a couple of months, maybe a year goes by and it feels super out of date. It feels super not in alignment with the rest of your preferences, and thus it is discarded again. That's the issue. Many of these decor items are not meant to last. They are meant to be super trendy and current on an Instagram feed for a while. I guess what really grinds my gear about the fast furniture industry is that they took a lot of the consumer patterns that they developed from the fast fashion industry and then applied them to home goods. How we live and what our homes look like has always been an extension of our personality, especially if you're wealthy. But with social media, there is now an expectation that everyone utilizes their home as an addition to their personal style. It's sort of another way of projecting ourselves thoroughly and constantly, and we have fast fashion turned fast furniture brands to thank for this development as well. Is there anything inherently wrong with wanting to add a personal touch of your own preferences and style to the space in which you spend the majority of your life? No. No, it's more who told us how to do it and who told us with what trends we should define our style and who tells us when our style is no longer current. That's the issue. There's another aspect that I really want to add to this analysis as well, and that is the impact of renting versus buying. Both millennials and Gen Z are experiencing a very different real estate market from that of previous generations, and especially baby boomers. And that also has an impact on how we consume furniture and home decor. According to Berkeley, 45% of baby boomers were able to buy their first home between the age of 25 and 34, while only 37% of millennials are able to do the same. This average has been dropping due to several economic disadvantages. Everything from student loans to the extremely increased cost of living to a housing market that still hasn't really recovered from the 2008 crash. The source of these statistics are from the US. However, it's definitely safe to assume that this is not the only place where stuff like this is happening. And I don't want this to turn into a generational war because, we have clickbaity news articles to do that. However, there is definitely the notion that baby boomers have created a bottleneck housing market, which has made it very difficult for younger generations to get their foot in the door with real estate. The house ownership averages of millennials is actually increasing, but it has only just started to do so. And that will ultimately have an effect on how home decor and home goods is consumed in general. Millennials is also the largest generation, so they do have an impact in terms of how their consumer patterns affect the market. I'm speculating if there is a link between the largest generation not really being able to afford homes in the same rates as many other previous generations have been able to, and the fact that the majority of home good items that is sold right now are knickknacks, decor, etc. 75%, as we talked about earlier. Because, if you can't really afford or have room for bigger pieces of furniture, the way that you can decorate your home, give it a facelift, etc., is by buying knickknacks, which is those that are often discarded easily. You were there for that. However, according to Forbes, millennials who own homes are more likely to buy vintage or pre-loved items. And while there might be many different reasons for this, I think it's definitely important to mention that when you rent, you might not get to stay in the same place for a longer period of time, and you will have to move every year, every other year, every 3 years, etc. So having cheap and lightweight furniture, when you have to change between different apartments, perhaps some of them are already furnished, perhaps some of them are not, then there will be a more frequent exchange of what you own. And when you have to move around a lot, it's easier to have lightweight and cheap furniture because simply discarding of them will be more convenient than having to move them around because they will also usually break because, for instance, a lot of IKEA furniture is not necessarily made to be moved and will ultimately break if you try to do that. So buying cheap furniture and replacing it every time you move will be more convenient and often also more economic than buying heavier pieces of furniture or renting a moving company. I'm not saying that this convenience aspect is the only reason why fast furniture is widespread, but I'm definitely saying that it has something to do with it. There's also plenty of evidence to suggest that it's not only people who rent that buy fast furniture, obviously. I am saying, however, that the fast furniture industry has created an opportunity for these people to do these things. They have created those consumer patterns. Recently, we've also seen another reason why a lot of homeware decor sales have absolutely exploded. During lockdown, most of us were cooped up into our apartments and into our homes, and we started to really get a good look at all the things that could be done differently. And a lot of consumers ended up replacing furniture, giving their homes a fresh look, simply just to feel something, and literally, who can blame them? This resulted in a significant increase in sales. British furniture retailers reported booms in sales from 20 to 100% during the lockdown period. Throwing perfectly good pieces of furniture away and replacing it with new ones comes with a large impact. A new couch, for instance, emits about 90 kilos of CO2, which is fine if you keep it for 30 years, but if you replace it after 2 years, it's an issue. And that's only the initial production emissions. Then there's, of course, all the other issues surrounding the production of new cheap products, like, are people getting paid? Where's the material sourced from? Did that have consequences for biodiversity? It probably did. Then there's of course the question of what will happen to the old pieces of furniture. Will they just rot away in landfill? Trick question. Nothing rots in landfill because there isn't any air, so nothing can ever really biodegrade and rot away. It will just remain a pile of junk for hundreds and hundreds of years and emit methane during all this time. Fast furniture is a significantly newer term than fast fashion, and it doesn't seem like the fast furniture industry is super interested in having the same reputation as fast fashion. Not that every single consumer knows about the impact of fast fashion, but generally it seems that that term and the complications that arises is more widespread knowledge than that of fast furniture. At least it seems that more consumers seem to be aware at this point that a t-shirt should cost more than lunch. Fast fashion is a more infamous phenomenon, is all I'm saying. So a lot of fast furniture companies are doing a lot of footwork right now to make sure that they are not lumped into a category similar to that of fast fashion. They're definitely trying. I'm seeing a lot of return systems, a lot of circular economy inspired repair programs. I'm seeing a lot of conscious lines. I'm seeing a lot of recycled this and that. And that's great. They are taking responsibility for a minuscule part of the problem. Brands like IKEA, Pottery Barn, H&M Home, you know the lot, do not seem to want to change the number of products they put out, nor the pace with which they put them out. As such, the very same issues they are trying to tackle with their repair programs, with their circular economy schemes, they are also continuously enabling with their business model, with their constant influx of new products. But you can play for both teams, right? Am I just sounding super bitter and mean? Darn, I hope so. Anyway, now we have talked a lot about really what not to do in terms of decorating our space. Let's talk a little bit about what we should do instead, real quick. Use what you already have, and if it's broken, try to repair it, give it a facelift, give it a new coat of paint. Do something with the things you already have rather than replacing them. The most sustainable swaps are the ones we already own. Yay! If you want to get something new, check out secondhand items, vintage items, pre-loved, even dumpster diving, things that have already lived a full life before you got it. Sometimes renting certain pieces is also an option, and I think that's pretty cool as well. Try to make something yourself, get your DIY on, especially when it comes to really fast-lived trends. It's completely okay to explore new preferences and new styles. I do that too all the time, but there are different conscious ways of doing that. So instead of going down to H&M Home and getting tons of new trendy goods, see if you can make some of them yourself to see if that's something that actually fits your style. If there's something that you feel like isn't in alignment with your style, you don't have to hang on to it in the name of sustainability. You can donate it, sell it, give it to someone else, literally anything else but bin it. If something breaks, try to repair it first of all. And if that's not possible, see if you can take some of the materials apart and use them in other projects. And lastly, support smaller brands, smaller artists and craftspeople that produce conscious pieces of art and furniture instead of buying from the bigger high street fast fashion, fast furniture powerhouses. Okay, and that was it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you liked it. If you want more sustainable home inspo, I've left some videos down below that you can go check out. Also, a big thank you to Wren for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate you guys. The link is also both down in the description and in the comments. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take really good care of yourselves. Until next time, bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye! Yes, the old outro is back because I felt like you guys liked that more. Okay, now I'll see myself out. Okay, bye.